Again, everyone, I'd like to thank you all for coming out to today's Shop Talk. Shop Talk is a community dialogue session that Wayne of Wayne's Cutz and I have come together to produce to bring forward within the community. What we talk about in Shop Talk are real life issues that go forth and challenges that go forth in the lives of people who live not only in the Nauck Green Valley area, but throughout Arlington, Virginia, and the surrounding areas. Today's Shop Talk, we have a special guest in Mr. Ibrahim Muse from the Green Valley Pharmacy, a historical landmark here in Arlington, Virginia. So for those of you who were not aware that today was Shop Talk time, the first and the third Saturday of the month, you have just fallen into Shop Talk. What we look forward to is community engagement. So we will be calling and asking individuals what they think, how we can help, what we think we need to have, or what we want to see. We are stronger together, and this is one of the things that we portray. So first, before I go any further in introducing our special guest today, I want to thank Wayne of Wayne's Cutz for allowing us to have and host Shop Talk here on the first and the third Saturday of each month. Without him, we wouldn't actually be able to do what we're doing today. And again, once again, we're doing this together. And I want to make some I want to acknowledge a couple of people in the audience before I present our special guest. I want to present Ms. Detta Kessel, who is here, that is from the Democratic Party. And we also have Matt DeFerenti, who is also running for county board. And with the mentioning of these two folks, we also have Shea from Arlington Independent Media, so we're glad to have them on board. With that, I want to take a moment and introduce Ibrahim, who is Doc Muse, who many of us already know, the grandson of Doc Muse, and also the owners of the Green Valley Pharmacy. And with that, I'm going to just turn it over to you, Ibrahim, and let you take the lead on how you want to present on what's going on with the Green Valley Pharmacy. What can the community look forward to? How can we help? What is it that you need from us? And how we're going to be looking going into the future?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm actually mic'd up. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for inviting me out, Kelvin. And
yes.
Wayne, thanks for having us all here. So yeah, as he said, yeah, I know, I see a lot of course, familiar faces in here, because, for the past, yes, sir. For the past, I see a lot of familiar faces in here. As you all know from the, my granddad ran this store since 1952. I didn't grow up in the valley myself. But from as long as I can remember, it's a place that we'd come just to, visit my granddad with my grandmother and my mom. And especially over the past 2 years, when my grandfather's health was going down, I stepped up a lot to help him in the store, not only to help the store, but also just to help him. And so, yeah, I see a lot of familiar faces in here. A lot of people came by the store. A lot of people have helped at the store since in my time there, and even long before I really started becoming a regular there. So first, I want to thank everybody for that. Even the Green Valley Pharmacy is part of the community, and the community is part of the Green Valley Pharmacy. The community really is the Green Valley Pharmacy. It would not have existed without you all, without this community here. So just to give you guys an idea, as you know, my grandfather passed back in August 20th, 2017. And I actually kept the store open for a while after that. I actually ended up closing it November 1st. And the reason for that was really because that time frame that I kept it open, it was because it was okay for me to do so. It was, you know, we still had our license and all that stuff. But, and it also allowed me to take an assessment of how the store was running and what needed to be done to take it into the future. You know, so, but November 1st, that's when I put those signs that are in the door. I actually saw, I believe, what's that local paper, Arlington Now, is it? Mm-hmm. They came by, they took pictures of the sign, and, you know, they were kind of, I guess, guessing to see if we're really reopening. I read a couple of comments on that story, and some of them said, you know, I believe in there I said closed for renovations, we'll reopen soon, and some of the comments said, you know, that's usually another way for saying we're closed for good. But I can tell you the store is not closed for good. It's definitely going to reopen. You know, there's no way I'm going, you know, myself or my family would let that, the legacy of that go away. Awesome. But as you all may know, or as some of you, or as you may not know, I'm sure as Wayne knows, sometimes getting a business going, opening a business, maintaining a business takes a lot of work. It's a lot of licensing, especially when you have something as regulated as a pharmacy. You know, so even dealing with things like that. And then on top of that is just the issue of, you know, the building, unfortunately, it's fallen a little bit of disrepair. So just going through the process and assessing everything, sometimes you come across things that you weren't aware of, and the budget that you thought you needed is not the budget that you needed. You know, you have to go over that.
So let me just chime in for a moment.
Yeah.
What are some of the ideas that we have right now for the pharmacy or for the building and the building next door?
So for the pharmacy right now, you know, it's for the pharmacy is kind of, we want to take it to, we want to modernize it. You know, my grandfather, he practiced pharmacy until he was 94 years old. So of course he felt comfortable doing things a certain way. But we want to modernize that. We want to make everything easier to track. We want to have a lot more, you know, computer systems in there. I myself, my profession, I'm not a pharmacist. My sister is, but I'm not. I work in health technology. I work a lot with computer systems. So for me, that's something I would love to bring into there. I want to bring it, you know, my goal, if I were to summarize what the goal for the store is, it's to take it into the future, but still respect the past. It's to, you know, to respect what's got it to where it is today. Has gotten it, you know, kept it open for over 60 years, but also prepared to take it, you know, for that next 60 years or 100 years, and looking what's needed to do that, so it can continue being a cornerstone of this community.
Yes, yes. And a cornerstone of the community, it has been. Some of the things that we are aware of that Doc has done over the years traditionally,
yes, has
been available for individuals. My understanding is that the pharmacy started in the first place because there was no health care in place for blacks during this time in the 50s.
Yeah, it was you know, black people could go to pharmacies to get their medications, but they had to use, you know, either the back door or the side door to pick up the medication. They didn't want them coming in through the front. And also the food counter in the store is significant because it was one of the first places black people could actually come in the county and sit down and have a meal, you know, without, again, either being completely denied service or having to pick up their food from a side entrance. So the store in itself, you know, it has a lot of history, a lot of, you know, a lot of historical context, and it means a lot to the black community in Northern Virginia, and not only Green Valley, but Northern Virginia, and, you know, being a state landmark, obviously, to this entire state of Virginia.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you just mentioned about updating the pharmacy. Is there some other ideas as far as the building? Because what about the museum piece? I know there's a lot of artifacts in there that are historic. Yeah,
so a lot of the, you know, the store, I mean, just about everybody in here has been in there. We all know it's not a huge space. We'll definitely have things in there commemorating the past. But a lot of pieces, we're actually going to, you know, I'm speaking with the county about putting them in some spaces throughout the county to, you know, to commemorate that. So even if it's not a large museum section in the store, all of that stuff, you know, even through the process of cleaning it out, we've put a lot of that stuff aside so we can, you know, have it around the county so people could go see it and learn some of the history of it. In addition to that, you know, we still have the marker in front of the store. Unfortunately, the voice recording that was recorded for that has not worked for a while. I've been in discussions with the county of getting that worked out. And actually, Arlington has been very helpful in the process. When my grandfather was alive, and even now that he's passed, I've been in contact with them a lot to, you know, to figure out how to take the store to the next level, and also how to respect and commemorate the past of the store.
And that's a big piece. I noticed that someone had come in that I know utilized the pharmacy quite a bit, but I'm going to address that in a minute when he comes back in. One of the things I do want to take note to, guys, is there's going to be traffic going in and out because this is still a barbershop. So we're going to be mindful of that. But the piece is that this is a very important point. This is a very important time and a very important topic, and also a very important transition. So as we have thoughts of how we can help and bring voice to some of the challenges that's being faced right now by Ibrahim and the Muse family, as well as the community, please take an opportunity to voice those challenges that you see or are aware of. And with that, I want to start out with the first. First, I want to ask: is there any questions that anyone has for Ibrahim at this time?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Historical pictures and documents you have for your grandfather, can we like send them to like the Black Museum so it'd be a start? I mean, if you can't put everything in the store, we can see if we can put them in that museum, so it would be saved and going for the future.
Yeah, you know, that's a good thought. I haven't considered sending it to the you're talking about the one in D.C.
Yes.
The Blacksonian, as we call it. Yeah, you know, maybe they'd be interested in some of those pieces, but I think it's also important, you know, to keep it in the Arlington community as well. I mean, you know, of course, if we could get it recognized in the National Museum, great, but I'm also fine with finding spaces in Arlington. I believe, what's the elementary here called again? I can't remember.
Drew.
Yeah, Drew Elementary. They're actually going to have a space in there where we'll have some of that information.
Okay, I'm just looking at things we want to save it. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, of course, yeah, you're definitely saving it. Definitely saving it.
Good question and good point, Wayne.
And we already started right here with Dr. Muse right here.
There you go.
Started right here.
Yeah, I can tell y'all, Wayne has been, you know, he helped my granddad out a lot. But, you know, he'd come down, cut his hair, and he's known my granddad longer than I have. I mean, because, you know, because he's a little bit older than me. So you know, he's definitely someone who was very involved in the store and helped my granddad out a lot. And, you know, I can't thank him enough for that.
Absolutely. And that's one of the pieces as well, as far as being able to continue to offer community assistance. Because again, I know that Doc gave individuals assistance when they were challenged to pay their bill. You know, things of this nature. And go ahead, Wayne.
First of all, I'd like to welcome Abraham and the rest of the crew here on the Shop Talk Day. I can honestly tell you guys, you know, I came here in 1976, a bicentennial year, when I first met Doc. And to this day, I still call him Uncle Doc because verbally he adopted me. Okay? I stayed with Doc in that house for 25 years. 25 long years. And I was hard-headed coming up. But Doc gave me the business side of it. And at that time, I didn't grab it, but I never forgot what he instilled in me. Yeah. So today, I'm a successful businessman, and I thank God first, and I thank Doc for allowing me to be here today to do this, you know? Because one thing I can honestly say, when I first opened the business, Doc was the first customer that I had in here. And I still have pictures, so we need to get those pictures blowed up too, as well. For sure. Know, but Doc has taught me a lot, and I think right now, you know, Doc will want the community to advance, even in the pharmaceutical department. advance, you know, because, you know, a lot of people are scared of change.
That's true.
Okay? So, yeah, so, hold on. So with that, I just like to, you know, thank y'all for coming out and, you know, allowing everybody to know what's really going on with the store. Because a lot of people come up here, hey, Wayne, Twin, man, what's going on with the store? I can't even lie to the people. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're here to reveal that. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. That was a question. Go ahead.
If I'm not wrong, with Doc, was the one that I met like over a year and a half ago, the older gentleman?
No, that's Dr. Taylor.
Okay.
But that's fine because that leads us directly into the piece of so many pillars that have been in the Green Valley community for so long. They've gotten up in age. Some have gone home, as some would say, but they have died. And so it's time for us to take the responsibility of filling the shoes of being accountable and responsible, and most importantly, proactive in our communities as we go forward with the challenges that we face, most important in building the community. And this is an opportunity to offer assistance, because one of the things I thought about when I invited or asked Ibrahim to come and lead us in the shop talk was, what is it that we could do together? You know, as we look at the next steps of the pharmacy or of the location of where the pharmacy has been, that what can we do as a community to build up something to show that we're together in this? If it is the pharmacy, or if it, because of licensure or whatever, it ends up becoming something else, then we can all say that we had a hand in that. You know, and that is something that's important. That's something to pass down, because there's legacy that's standing right here. And there's opportunity for legacy throughout the blocks, from the 24th to 27th to Kenmore. You know, it's opportunity. What do you think, young brother? I see you have your child here in the chair. What do you think about all of this?
I'm trying to manage the situation here in the chair. So just a quick question on, can we go back to what the specific difficulties are with the licensing?
Yeah.
Is it a matter of like the actual paperwork, the process? I mean, that's kind of what I'm interested in. And what is it that we can do as a community to move that process forward? Because that seems to be sort of like one of the major stumbling blocks.
Okay, good piece.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the licensing of the pharmacy, it's you know, it's just a matter of, as you all may or may not know, my granddad ran that as a sole proprietorship, meaning that he was the business essentially, and we have been in the process of switching it more towards an LLC, limited liability company, and also just switching the pharmacy over to that. But during that process, we had to go back and forth with the Virginia board. Luckily, we've overcome that, but there were space requirements for the store that, he was grandfathered in on a lot of things. And, for example, the pharmacy has to be a certain size, which we didn't meet that requirement. So it was about going back and forth with them to try to get that grandfather clause back, which we have been, looks like we've been successful in doing that. And then just, now that we have that, and, you kind of clear one hurdle, then you take on the next ones. Now it's just a matter of, we're putting together a plan to actually start the entire renovation from the inside and out. And then also, as someone mentioned, since it is a historical property, there is a lot of, you can't just go in and start tearing stuff up. You can't go changing colors, materials. You have to get approved everything by the state before you do it, or you could lose that historical designation. So we're just going through the process, working with the county, to make sure that the changes we make fit the requirements for that. And if some of them, it's easy, that's no problem, do that. Other ones, you have to kind of run it by the people, the board or the bodies that be who determine that. And for example, if we want to use one kind of tile and they say that doesn't fit, but this style that's similar does, then we would have to go with that one. So it's just, we're trying to be meticulous in the reopening because we want to do it right. We want to maintain that historical designation. And by the way, the store is also up for a national designation. So everything I'm doing, we're also looking forward to getting that as well. So we're being meticulous, in order to ensure that we do it right, we maintain all our designations, that we have everything that's, you know, in place, everything above board. So,
Yes.
but that's
Awesome.
a good question. I appreciate that one.
Awesome piece, and great, that was a great educational response, because I just learned something, you know, especially as far as the national piece. So it's an opportunity for us again, guys, to have our imprint. As we are as old as Doc Muse, that we could go down the street with our grandfather and talk about the history and talk about our participation in the furtherance of the pharmacy. And you also mentioned the county board, and with that, I'm gonna ask Matt to come up and give us some insight. Matt is an individual who is running for county board, Mr. Matt DeFerente, if you don't mind coming up. What do you think, as far as what we're having here today, if I can get to this stand right here, what we're having here today with this discussion and how it can go forward?
Well, first, I think it's amazing that you're taking on this leadership role of transitioning, and not easy. Second, I want to just say that I'm here to listen and learn. Significant. That's sort of the first thing that we need to do, is open our hearts and listen and learn to the history that's there. And then third, I'd say it makes so much sense that you're trying to go step by step through it all, because the county, their zoning, and then their land use processes, and then their historical board, that can be a long road.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've already heard and learned that. But if you, it seems to me as though if you do it all right and then you're set when you go forward, that's going to make your business the most successful.
Yeah.
But I do think it's also just critical what you're doing to bring the community involved and engaged, to sort of lift up the tradition and the history and turn to the next page. I'm running because I think economic opportunity is so critical, and educational opportunity is really critical. And that means I think we need to invest in the community. In addition to, there's discussion of being sort of fiscally careful. We can't spend too much, but we have to invest in all parts of our community so that we address economic opportunity. And I think businesses like yours, Wayne, and yours, the one that you're now operating, Green Valley, it's an incredible chance to do that. So, I mean, I'd be interested. I know there's a long process with the county, but certainly this is a worthy goal that I'm interested in supporting.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Others, hold on 1 second, Steve. What we want to do is get the opinions of individuals who are here. Young brother, would you like to chime in? What do you think about today? You came in to get your son's haircut, your haircut, and look where you have fallen into. What do you think about what this gentleman is talking about, this legacy his granddad has started, and the challenge that's on his shoulders today?
I don't know. Like, I know him personally and stuff like that, so I think it's a great thing that he's doing. You know, I don't know. You got to keep it going. You know, there's not too many black-owned businesses that's still operating and stuff, and it's a good image for the younger youth to look at it like, okay, I can do it too. So I mean, it's a good thing. I don't know. I feel like it's cool though.
All right, so here we go. Here we go, guys. Y'all gotta remember, this is Kelvin. So what can you do personally to assist in this?
What can I do personally?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I really do. You know, if I was rich, I'm like, yeah, I ain't. But, you know, other than that, I mean, just go buy stuff from the store, open up, just keep supporting, you know. And that's how you do it, you know. And make sure that my children and stuff know about it, and just keep it all going, you know. So I can do my part and raise mine and be good citizens, and that's my part.
Awesome piece. And thank you very much. And great job with me putting you on the spot. Because here's the deal, guys. Let me just say this piece right here. This is something that I have just recently learned. We are the commodity. Much more so than the individuals who have the money. And the individuals who have the money, that's one piece. But us in numbers together is a much greater piece in our election process, in the building of our communities, in the building of our families, in the building of ourselves personally. Because it's got to start with me, and then within my household, and then within my community. And once I do that, because of the experience that I have, wow, I am that much more authentic, and the work that I do is that much more true. And that's what we're looking for, right? We don't want to go around nobody that's faking. We want to be with individuals who are true, like Doc and like the Muse family, like Wayne and Wayne's Cutz. You know, this is what we're talking about. Like Jetta Kessel, who is, I'll tell you, the hardest working person I know besides arm in arm when it comes to restoration of rights, getting individuals out to vote, and helping individuals through their registration process. And with that, I wanted to ask you, so what do you think about all of this? And who are you?
My name is Greg Williams. I'm not a resident of Arlington in terms of growing up, but I've been in and out of Arlington for the last 30 years. And just sitting back listening to this information, it's informational, number one, and it's also it's teaching. In terms of this whole process, I think it's important, like I said, for little ones to understand the paths and understanding all of the tribulations and trials and just the different barriers that were in place to be able to open that store and to serve the people that it was serving. I think that's very important.
Yeah. And he just mentioned once again, he mentioned the little ones. And the thing about the little ones, it's an opportunity for them to start moving their foot on it. What do you think about that, Ibrahim?
About what exactly?
About the youth. About maybe this is an opportunity to start getting some of the youth more involved or incorporating that into the next phase. I don't have anything without your youth, right? I mean, I'd love to see them have opportunities, and I'm always thinking of, once the store's open, how can we support that? I mean, maybe we could even have like some sort of scholarship or something, a scholarship fund for kids to go on and pursue, STEM. We could definitely use more kids in that, more interested in that. I mean, I come from a family of people where we're kind of in that field, in the science technology field. And I can tell you, as me, working in the field I'm in, I work with computers, I do a lot of programming. There's not a lot of people who look like me in the room whenever I'm in the room. And, having, maybe setting up something. I mean, and I don't want to be one of those people that just makes it like STEM is the only way to go, but encouraging people to go into that, but also pursuing other things that they like. I can see the store, the Green Valley Pharmacy, helping that, again, either with maybe setting up a mentorship program or just even setting up, some sort of scholarship to pursue certain interests. So, absolutely. Yeah, the youth are definitely important. And I mean, just to add to that, and this is just something that came to mind, a particular category of youth, or youth with a particular background. How about that? I mean, but this is just, brainstorming, putting it out there. Jetta, what do you think? Can you step out this way for a minute? And the guys, I want to be calling on folks, Mr. Jose, get ready.
So Kelvin asked me to say something about some of the things we're working on. First of all, I do a lot of work with the Democratic Party. But there are other people in this community that do a lot of work with the Democratic Party as well. Your precinct captain, Cornelia Hill and Ronnie Hill, need help in getting out the vote. Fortunately, John Robinson, I think, drilled it into everybody years and years ago that they need to vote, and this community does vote. But again, Cornelia and Donnie Hill could probably use some help with voter registration and that sort of thing. Kelvin asked me to talk about a specific thing that I'm working on with the left side of our party. A lot of people who voted for Bernie started an organization called Our Revolution, and I do a lot of work with them too, because they've got a lot of good ideas. And one of the good ideas that they have is that they looked at Cleveland. Cleveland, 10 years ago, there was a pocket of unemployment. There was a big pool of possible employees, but there was unemployment in the center of Cleveland. And a group called the Democracy Collaborative, who studies these things, tried to figure out if there could be a worker-owned cooperative started in that area. And the concept of a worker-owned cooperative is that you become owners of your own business.
Okay, can you go in? Yeah, I was going to ask you. Thank you for going there. Being owners of your own business and cooperative. Help us to see what that is. What that means.
Right. So let me just show how Cleveland did it.
Okay.
Because the way Cleveland did it is they went to all of, like, the government, and they went to the hospitals there and the universities there, and they said, what do you buy from people that, you know, we could get you to buy from us? What could we do to get into their stream? And they found that they started with the cleaners, industrial cleaners, and they found that, you know, the hospitals would buy their cleaning, committed to buy their cleaning services from the co-op. And so the co-op hires people. Within 6 months, you can start becoming an owner. There is no other owner other than the people that are working in the cooperative, and I think Cleveland kept like a slice of it, like 15% or something, the city of Cleveland. And so gradually, you know, it didn't turn a profit immediately, it turned a profit within a few years, and then they started doing other cooperatives, and in other words, they started helping to fund other cooperatives. So they've got like a farming cooperative, an urban farming cooperative that sells vegetables to the hospitals and to the cafeterias. And so they started to do this. The reason I was hesitant to bring this up right now is that this is a longer term process. We have to find the entities that would buy things from us, and then go into the community and try to figure out if there's an interest in the community in starting this kind of a cooperative. But Tim Dempsey from Our Revolution is my partner. He can present better on this. But you know, we're just in the beginning phases, and we're really looking at this area because this is my precinct.
Yeah.
I work with Cornelia, and so this is the one I was interested in.
Awesome, and awesome response. But let me say this, I want to make sure that everybody understood what she just said. What she just said is the exact same thing that I heard from a group of young men ages 17 to 24 on the corner out here. And this was a couple months ago when I asked them, what is it that they want to do? These young men were talking about jobs, but they also began talking about jobs that influence and enhance the community. The way they said it was in different words. They didn't use the word cooperative. They said, well, one of the youth said was, well, I want to get a job that I'll be able to hold and be able to help my children come into, that they'll have a better life. That we won't have to go outside of our community for everything that we need. That we'll be able to do this from within our community. Now, what he just said is literally what Deborah just said. One was talking about a car service. One was talking about doing something to help children. These are young men. There wasn't even a young lady there to the end of the conversation. But the piece is this. It's about believing that we can. With the cooperative piece, with what we're talking about with the enhancement of the pharmacy, phase 2, if you will, with what we're doing within Arm in Arm as a peer-to-peer reentry organization, doing work within the community to bring together families and community, with what Wayne's Cutz is doing, this is a cooperative. Guys, this is a cooperative. And this is an opportunity also to get involved. But we get involved by voicing first, and then secondly by walking. And with that, I want to ask Jose to come up. Jose is a member of Arm in Arm that has done work within this community and knows Doc from Doc Pharmacies for some time. Come on this way, Jose. Tell us a little bit about Doc, Jose. Tell us your experience and what you like to see with the furtherance of the pharmacy.
Well, I haven't been here in a long time. Somewhat shy to talk about. Speaking on Doc, he was a mentor for me. You know, I grew up in this community, and I grew up with Doc. You know, I didn't realize how significant in the impression that he was going to make on this community at that time, because I grew up around him. He was just another member in the community as I grew up to know him. But Doc was a role model, a good role model. a good businessman role model, who taught the principles of being a role model. And Green Valley Pharmacy is a symbol of the community always having a place to connect with themselves. You know, guys is worn off the war. I remember the time in the days when I was going to Vietnam and other soldiers such as myself. They was gonna meet up at Doc's because they know that's where everybody gonna be there, or know someone is coming through there. It's gonna send a message. So it's a message center. It is very, very vital that we keep that pharmacy, because it not only does it delivers medicine to other people, but it delivers medicine for the soul, because we can get together. That's a pivotal point for this community, the black community in Arlington. That's what I like to offer, and it's fantastic making it historical landmark. I was there when the county was making the decision. I spoke up on it, and I'm speaking up on it again, that we should never abandon the opportunity to make the Green Valley Pharmacy better, make this community better.
Awesome. Hey, very well put. And let me tell you guys something. Let me just give a little piece on this gentleman right here. I used to call Jose the historian of Arm in Arm, because when I sat down with him one day, a 2-minute video talking about Arm in Arm ended up into a 12-minute illustration of the history of Green Valley Pharmacy. There's some new folks who have come in, and I do want to bring everyone up to speed on what we're doing here. This right here is Shop Talk. It's our community dialogue session where we talk about things that are going on in our lives personally, within our communities, and within our families, as well as within our nation and our world. There's nothing that's held back. But today we're focusing on our Green Valley Pharmacy and the Nauck Green Valley community, the enhancement of it, what we can do, and how we can all come together and utilize this as a platform into the transformation of a community. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to add? Sir just came in with the baby. Okay. I want to jump on you two parents here, if y'all don't mind, and just ask you all, so what do you think, what does it mean to you to have something like a pharmacy, or a black historical pharmacy, or a barber shop or something like that, to be able to introduce your children to and then let them know that they play a part in that?
Yes, it's a good idea, it's a good concept, and it shows the kids as they're growing up something that they can achieve, something that they can look forward to. You took over from your grandfather, which is good, keeping it in the family, and then future children and other family members can see that, hey, I can still accomplish this, and especially because it's historical, they have a part of being part of history.
Yeah.
So.
Good piece, very good piece. And I don't mean to, listen, if I come up to you guys, because I'm a very engaging individual, just do like this if you don't really want to chime in. I think I saw you put your hand up. Come on, brother, talk to me.
I don't have that much to say. I just think that I can appreciate the dialogue that we're having here in the shop today, and I do think it's important for those of us who are in the community to realize the importance of keeping what we have in the community, but also realize the importance of thinking of the possibilities that we have to maintain this community as well. But on the other hand, I do think we have a lot of work to do within the community before we can even get to the point of talking about owning our own businesses. I think the empowerment conversation is great.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Yeah. And I'm going to ask you, because you're 9 feet tall, you will come out this way. Brilliant. So, because it's important. What this gentleman is saying is very important. I want to make sure nobody misses it. Okay? So.
No, I was just saying that the empowerment piece is great, and it's absolutely something that we need, but I believe our community as a whole has been torn down and shaken essentially at its seams for probably over the past 40 to 50 years. There's a lot of rebuilding and a lot of work that has to be done, not only within us individually, but within our family units as a whole. And until we can rebuild our families, it all starts at home. And until we can do that, I think that's the first step to empowerment, empowering our families to live as families. That's number one. Until we can do that, I think when you talk about owning this, owning that, and putting more into the community, it can be done, but it's just more difficult because, again, I just think it all begins at home. Family is your support, and if you're trained there and you learn how to govern and rule there, then you can take what you learn there and govern in the community.
I believe I second.
Awesome, awesome piece. And you see why I engage folks who don't say anything? Because you never know what might happen, what might come out of that nugget. With that, there's a gentleman that had another question for you, Ibrahim, and I think that he's in the back with his son. So I want to give you a moment to go ahead and bring out your question.
Yeah, can you, I just need a moment.
Absolutely. So I'll move on while we're waiting on that. Sir, did you have something that you want to chime in, and I'll help you with it. So what can you do to help enhance this process, or what is it that you see that needs to be done?
Actually, I'd like to regress if I could, and I'll go back to your initial point with bringing the gentleman in, Ibrahim, correct? I'm a transplant myself, like the gentleman. I'm not from here.
What you call it?
I'm a transplant.
I'm a transplant too.
So the military brought me here. So anytime I come here and hear, you know, it reminds me of myself. My grandfather went from kind of a similar situation, different ministry.
Yes.
But my question is twofold, really. In the interim, while your store is closed, what are those people, particularly those that really couldn't, will have the financial means to go elsewhere? What are they doing in the interim while your store is closed? And then two, being that this is a historic landmark, so to speak, are there any type of grants or things you're eligible to get through the county or the state maybe that could assist you in that endeavor? I know you're saying you have to get over one hump and there's another, and so on and so forth. Do they have any type of programs and things to assist you in that endeavor, or your family to get you where you need to be?
Yeah, those are good questions. The first one, what's, you know, as far as the people, as you said, who didn't have, you know, anywhere else to go but the store, I suppose. How I didn't say it exactly how you worded it. Really, it's one of those situations where, in order to better serve those kind of people, this process it's absolutely needed. You know, unfortunately, during this, you know, if we're not open, we're not able to help certain people, and that's why, I mean, I would like to get back open so we can get back to that as soon as possible, but at the same time, it's, you know, if we don't do it right, then, you know, it's hard to help other people when, you know, you're on shaky ground, you know. And the next part of that, as far as grants and all, there are, you know, you have tax credits, there are, you know, mainly tax credits, and again, those are things that we are pursuing, and that is why it is important to be very meticulous throughout the process, because again, you know, changing a pipe that shouldn't have been changed blows you out the water. So yeah, we are looking at all of the options we can for funding, you know, to help with the process. But of course, at the end of the day, you know, even if we don't get any, I mean, it's always nice to get a break. But at the end of the day, if we don't get a break, it's still happening. You know, you keep the ship sailing regardless. So we are looking for that for help, but you know, we're not using that as our primary source of funding for the project that we're trying to take on.
Okay, awesome, and that's a good question and a good piece.
As far as since I've been affiliated around this area, what I see is, I think sometimes if we could grab the strongest seniors around here in the neighborhood and give them something to look forward to doing for their grandchildren or whatever, like participate in something, and we could sit them down and get a group together with the strongest seniors here, I think, you know, it'd be quite a few people that will follow, because everybody in the neighborhood knows each other, and everybody in the neighborhood has the utmost respect for certain seniors around here. I mean, utmost. You know, and that's the battle. If you can get the strongest to talk to the weakest, or get the weakest and talk to him and make him stronger, then I think, you know, the community will come out more. You have to offer this community, you have to offer them. You know, sometimes you may have to even pick them up and put your arm and bring them to it. But that's what I observed the times I've been around here. And there's not quite a good family reuniteness in here, in this area here, due to certain situations or whatever it may be. You know, but if we, like he said, if it comes from the family, and the family comes into, lives in the community and sees, you know, everybody's been here a long time. You know, there's a lot of seniors that raised up a whole lot of other people's children. You know, so I know this personally. So I'm saying, you got to give somebody, maybe it may take one, it may take two, it may take, but you got to give somebody something to have the initiative to want to keep this community off, or help get it up off this level, you know, and that's all I observed since I've been coming around.
That's a good piece, and it's a good point to lead. Hold on 1 second, sir. I see your hand. To lead directly into this segue. At this point, what we're going to do, we're going to pass the board around again. And what I'm going to ask individuals to do is when you signed in, or when you put your name, or you made your mark, please put aside there what's important to you. Please put where you can help us in this process within the community, because that's what we're going to ask you to work with us as we begin to put together the teams that are going to go forth in the community. So start with this gentleman right here. We're going to go forth with that. The other piece is this is also a community a commercial break where we're going to pass around this box. And with this box, we're asking for donations. The donations are for the work that we do in Arm in Arm. And what we are is a peer-to-peer re-entry organization that works with returning citizens from incarceration, veterans, their families, and the community to build whole and healthy communities. What we do is we bring together literally what's been talked about right here by the tall man. When he talked about the place of having an area where individuals can feel comfortable, where you can come and not feel that you're being ostracized. You can share openly and freely about where you are. We established that. We also help individuals with cognitive tools to build themselves up and make proper decisions in times of transition and triumph, as well as challenge. But lastly, we offer a platform of community outreach for individuals to help within the community in areas of doing community service, areas of volunteering with seniors, areas of working with youth, areas of devoting some time to community businesses and organizations. All of this is available. We have right now members of Arm in Arm. Would you just raise your hand? We have members of Arm in Arm that are throughout this shop right now, and some have come and gone. But this right here is an assignment. It's to come and participate within the community. And this right here helps us to see that we're significant too. And as I feel that I'm significant, a part of a community, or organization, or institution, or a nation, I'm a whole less likely to go against it. So it's about building and coming together and being significant as one. So with that, Mike, if you could pass that, just start the box right there, that gentleman right there. Just pass it around. Give whatever you can. If we don't ask, whatever you can do, that will be great. And with that.
And I was going to switch mics. So just try talking to that. That'll be cool. So Kelvin, you may not think he talks a lot, but he talks the energy right out of the battery every time. The batteries cannot stand up.
And believe me, anybody like Star Trek like I do, you know this guy just gave me a phaser and told me to point it at myself. I kid you not. And so at this time, are you ready to ask your question?
Sure, yeah. This is
okay, you just brought up a good point. Come on up front, brother.
Yeah. Can I speak from here, or do you need me to come up?
Yeah, just come on up. We want to make sure that we get, because you're asking a question, so we definitely want to get the questions out. And we'll stand right here.
Just a quick question for the brother. I mean, you're going through sort of like this long, complicated process with the shop. I'm just wondering, are you going about and getting, or do you have legal representation that's helping you? Because I know that there are a couple of nonprofit entities that provide legal assistance to local businesses, and I know that, I mean, from what you're describing, it sounds like a very complicated, long procedure.
Yeah, we have got some legal representation, as well as we have different advisors that we're working with in order to make sure we navigate all of the county laws or the state or national laws, as well as down to understanding the new tax bill. Everything's changed in 2018. So again, as I said, since we're trying to do everything the best way possible, that's something that we knew was important from the get-go. But yeah, I appreciate you asking that.
Okay. All right. So I got 3 hands up here. So Steve, you come on.
I'm looking at it from a point of view, right? I'm gonna call it the reality of my life, right? I never knew in my life that growing up, interested in the fast-paced things. I always thought that I would never be a slow person, going to be boring. Then when I moved down into Virginia, I'm a disabled person, into the community I live in, I had to learn, that I had to meet certain people, and everybody that I met wasn't going to be able to try to help me or was going to disappear and stuff like that. And I know there's a lot of emotions involved in, what you're doing. And to some, right now, they're not interested. It might be boring because there's no excitement and stuff like that. But I do want you to know that there's people here, especially us here, that's here, and people here that are members of Arm in Arm, that we're members of Arm in Arm because we needed a change in our lives. We came there willingly saying, you know what? I want to change, but I don't know how, so I need to meet up with people that have been through what I've been through or trying to move forward because I need some advice. Okay. And as a group, we learn and we meet so many people that have different backgrounds, professional backgrounds, had challenges and stuff like that, where there's so much information. Okay. So I think it's a wonderful thing because I wish I had a grandpa. I loved my grandfather that I could have kept something going that he had, that was his. But unfortunately, I don't. But I'm willing, personally, as a person, to always hear what you have to say, and I appreciate everybody offering you the help or asking you questions because some of it's on you now because the questions are being asked to you to stay in contact with everybody here that has stood up and asked you. They can offer, they know this, know that, which I'm pretty sure you know a lot too because you're a business person, so
Okay.
So that's the one thing.
And we'll appreciate your comment. One of the things, all right, we have a gentleman just walked in. And let me just say this. There's certain people in the community that touch you because not only are they a part of the community, but they have potential and they have power. And I've talked to this brother about this since I've met him, really. And I'm glad for him to come out today. Because again, if everyone who needed to be here was here right now, we'd have to have both doors open, all out into the street and some more. But I'm glad to see that you showed up, T. And what we have had is an opportunity to hear some of the challenges that the pharmacy has. And you missed much of that. But I'm just gonna ask you a question. What are some of the things that you like to see and like to be a part of as far as the advancement of the community?
My thing is, it is all about the community. See what I'm saying? A lot of us don't know about the community. And the community is what they give you. What do you think that they give you? And that's the only thing that's going to be of value. I've been here 56 years. I was born in the district, but my father raised me through all this. I remember when the pharmacy was just the pharmacy and everything. My father worked for Doc, worked with Doc, and worked with the community because one thing about it, this is all we have. Now, if you all don't see it it's because you don't want to see it. But this is all ours. You know, change is good. It really is. But you have to accept the change. You have to accept what the community gives you. Now, like I keep saying, I came here last time, what I keep saying is, I got to check a pass. But I don't care nothing about that.
What do you mean when you say check a pass?
That's for me to know and you to find out. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to know.
That means he's a little bit more like Kelvin than not.
No, I am me. My name is Terry Blunt. And if you want to know, you'll find out. It ain't no, but this is family. It's about family. It's about your kids, your father, and you was a kid, your mother, and you are a kid. It's about family. Now, if you don't appreciate it, you don't want it. I love it to the end. I have no other choice. You know, I really do. But all I want you all to do, just keep your head up. That's all we have. And like I say, I volunteer and help anything that has to be done within my time limit. But I want you all to understand, this is you all, and this is mine. And I'll go to my grave accepting this is mine. So I'll put my best foot forward. That does include, or this include, your nationality or whatever. This includes the person in your heart. This is not, to me, it's not a joke. That's my little man right there. Right there, that's my little man right there. That's my little man right there. They coming up. They need your help. You have to give it up. Even if this is not your community, whatever community you come up in, that's community you have to love, because without the community giving you that backing, you're lost. You're lost. Whatever country, whatever. But you come down here and get your hair cut at a real barbershop. And like they said on the movie Barbershop, just a cornerstone in the neighborhood.
I'm gonna stop this brother right there, because he like Kelvin, he can go. But here's the deal. One thing about Terry, or I call him T, he lives in North Arlington. He lives off Lee Highway.
Now.
But the kicker is this. If I call him, he'll come.
I make my way.
He'll come. And this is what we're going to need. I mean, it requires some sacrifice sometimes, guys, to bring forth the change, to bring forth the health and the togetherness, the oneness that's necessary to build whole and healthy communities. And that's what Ibrahim is doing. That's what Terry is doing. That's what Wayne of Wayne's Cutz is doing. That's what Detta is doing. That's what we're focused on doing. And that's what we all can do together. That's what we're talking about. At this time, because of